Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Heroes Hype. We have the HGC Open Division Cup number 2 for Phase 2. I'm Murda. I'm joined tonight by my great friend, Professor Bobo. How you doing, man?
Murda, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be here with you, and I am proud to be casting my first Heroes Hype match. This is gonna be awesome, man.
I'm very excited. Tonight we have the third place match here in Cup number 2. It will be between Reborne and Necrodancers. You just caught the action over on twitch.tv/BlizzHeroes with Jake and Kala. Semifinals look good, Bobo. What are you thinking here in this third place match?
Well, I mean, we got 15 points on the line, 75 points for third, 60 for fourth. Two teams that have actually worked their way through the bracket a little unexpectedly. Reborn had a fantastic run last night. Murda, I was watching. Did you manage to get a peek at the run that Reborn made?
I mean, yeah, they went through some pretty impressive teams. They started with Boosted, and then went through Queen's Gambit, which we know is
a shocker of the night.
Yeah, I mean, this team, the way they played last season, a little bit of a change going into Phase 2, but Queen's Gambit is definitely a dangerous squad in Open Division this phase. And then they moved past Femme Ferocity, which, again, is another team that is a little bit newer, but a lot of faces we've seen before, and they're able to move past with ease.
Absolutely. A long night for Reborn, though. A lot of tough matches. And on the flip side of the bracket, we had Necrodancers, who actually wound up making their way through Team Numerics and then Trademark Gaming as well. They recently were felled by Wrong Orc in the semifinals, and that's how they find themselves here in the 3-4 game.
Yep. So both these teams losing their semi-final match tonight. Reborn losing the Freebirds, and as Bobo just mentioned, we saw Necrodancers fall to Wrong Orc. Out of the two, I think Necrodancers had a little bit better of an evening. They took map number 1 off Wrong Orc, and looked pretty clean in map number 1. Any thoughts there?
Absolutely. What I've been watching with Necrodancers, I really like watching Huff Money play Stitches. I hope we get an opportunity to see that. And Reborn, listen, I think it's a chance for them to sort of reset, understand the mistakes that they made, the previous set there, and turn it around and go for the third place finish here.
Yeah, absolutely. So both teams obviously excited to play. They got to this point in the tournament. They locked in a good bunch of points, which really is what matters heading into the later cups. You want to have points on the board, and they're going to walk away with a minimum of 60. The winner of this match, as you mentioned, will get 75. So that's an enormous little bit of incentive to fight for here in this third place match.
And Reborn actually, I believe, just by virtue of being here in the 3-4 game, are going to find themselves locked into third place here for the early stages of the Open Division and the early cup. So they've got to be happy. I mean, it's a great organization. Murda, you and I are familiar with it. Shout out to Coach Crosby. We'll definitely talk to him after this set goes down. But listen, man, I'm excited. It's going to be a good set. We hope to get the entertaining bloodbath that we definitely like to see here for the 3-4 game, eh?
I'm fully expecting a bloodbath. If it doesn't go 3 games, I'm surprised. I think both teams, obviously, we have Winterheart on Reborn. He was the MVP of Cup number 1 last week. Everyone loves some Winterheart. In fact, if you're in chat right now, throw out some love. But overall, these two teams, they know what they're doing. They're going to have a good time. We already know what the map bans are. We might as well throw these out at the people.
Yes.
We saw the first pick is going to go over to Reborn, and Necro is going to ban out Braxis. Reborn ban out Cursed Hollow. So Papa bless, no Braxis holdout tonight, Bobo.
But I do like the curse ban for Reborn. It's a map that Necrodancers have played, and they've played it pretty well so far. And again, it's a map that plays a little bit to some of the strengths that Necrodancers have shown, and we'll see if they can get that to transition here over to Infernal Shrines.
Yep.
All right.
Still waiting to get in a lobby, so we're just kind of chilling for now.
We're almost there.
Almost. We're working on it.
But while we have a minute, we do want to give a shout out to Heroes Hype and the newly started patron campaign. You can support Heroes Hype over at www.patreon.com/HeroesHype. There's a number of different tiers. There's actually some really great rewards. You can start off on the low end. Listen, if you're just trying to chip in and give the folks here a little bit of a tip, and it goes all the way up to the, is that the Feels Glad Man tier? That's the legendary Hyperion tier, which has actually got some really cool rewards. I like seeing that the folks here at Heroes Hype are going to put together a swag bag for those that are their strongest supporters.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did. Feels glad man tier. If you're not part of that tier, you're missing out. I actually was a guy at BlizzCon last year, standing behind. I think must have been Gilly and Dread casting a match. Maybe it was Caldor. I can't remember, but I was holding up a sign that said "Feels glad man." Twitch chat loved it.
Guy's a
He
legend.
is a legend, absolute legend. Surprised I haven't seen him this season much.
It's early. He'll
Yeah.
show up strong. We've seen him chipping a little bit, but other news going on today, the start of the new ranked season. So I hope everybody has had a wonderfully frustrating time trying to navigate the placements early on. And Murda, a big patch has come through.
Oh baby, it's Jimmy time. Jim Raynor, this is really what all of the Heroes community has been calling for months, maybe years, is to see Jim Raynor finally get an E ability, let alone a rework.
Just keep adding to the baseline. And actually, so for tonight, we're still going to be on the previous patch, so it's going to be the Euro patch, but there's a lot of fun things going on with this balance patch. We encourage you guys to check it out. Again, the Raynor rework and the Azmodan rework, trying to pick up a couple of heroes that have been quite far out of the meta for a little while. I suspect in the next few weeks, we're going to see some Jimmy. It's strong. Yeah. It was borderline oppressive on the PTR. When Jim Raynor can play a battery for you, you know he's in a pretty good spot.
So we're like 3 weeks away, I guess, from seeing Jim live in HGC matches.
It could be. I'm not sure. Yeah, sometimes the patch time fluctuates a little bit. The Azmodan rework was very interesting as well. And I do have to give a shout out to the dev team because there was a lot of worry about how Azmodan was going to work on live. There were concerns. Again, a lot of his power has been taken away from the split push aspect of the hero, added to some baseline abilities to him as well. But the one change from the PTR over to live is that they did make some improvements to Asmo, particularly the globe and that usage. So kids, get out there and dunk away.
He is dunk worthy, but he also has his brand new basic attack build that you can go. I think dude, it's a lot of fun. What was the one at level 10 bombardment or 7 rather?
7, yeah. The bombardment talent is actually, it's kind of neat on Azmodan. I didn't think 2018 was going to bring about an auto attack Asmo, but here we are. It's interesting. We'll have to wait a couple weeks to try to get some data and see how people adjust to playing a more team fight friendly Azmodan.
Yeah. But we do have to mention tonight we are, of course, on the Urel patch over on the tournament realm. So you viewers at home, if you didn't already tune in previously to this cup, that is the patch we're on, the Urel patch tournament realm. So,
all right, we're ready to go.
Launching into draft. Let's do it.
Headed to Infernal Shrines for game number 1 here. This is the map pick of Reborn. So Necrodancers will have our first pleasure here. Listen, watching these cups, the meta seems to be developing. We are seeing certainly a lot of Urel, a lot of Blaze and Dahak in the off lane, Joe, Murda, Garrosh on the tank side.
This is
very banned out.
This is actually Reborn with the first pick here, Boba.
Oh, okay. My apologies. So Reborn on the first pick. We will get rid of the Urel. We expect to see a lot of Malf, a lot of Deckard Cain, a lot of Jaina. And it's been surprising over the last few weeks. We've seen Jaina sort of wax and wane in use at the professional level, but the popularity on Jaina, especially for this cup, has been through the roof. And it can be Ring or Welly. So either side of those heroics, we will possibly see Miss Proudmoore.
Yeah, both teams playing with and against Jaina in this tournament. Most recently, we saw, in my opinion, one of the heroes that was giving both these teams trouble was Johanna. So we'll see if they want to make adjustments, bring Johanna into their side of things, and maybe abuse the fact that their opponent had struggles in the semifinals against her. So we'll see if that makes her way into this draft here.
Yeah, with the last buff that went through for Johanna, they, again, removal of the baseline armor and then a buff to her HP. It's proving actually surprisingly more difficult to get past Johanna and onto the back line. She was difficult to kill before. She's borderline impossible now. And the other thing that's been developing is a lot of great, really simple, quick cooldown combos off of Blessed Shield. And that's one thing that has rose to prominence here in Cup number 2. 35 seconds left on the first pick. We did see the Blaze ban. So Sonya and Dahaka will move up in terms of the offlane priority. I'm not sure if we'll get something outside of that group.
Yeah, I think I'm expecting Dahaka to make an appearance here, especially seeing Yrel gone, Blaze gone, as you mentioned, two top. And when I say top, these are the very top of the solo lane charts right now. So we're going to move into that second tier, Bobo. And I think you're right on with Dahaka or Sonya. Going to definitely be options. And we'll see if these teams want to take it before the next ban phase, because potentially you could steal another one away and ban out the other one. Genji, though, first selection from Reborn.
He makes it through, but not for long. First pickup there for Reborn. And Sonya and Kane. So we have one of the top tier supports. And again, the offlaner is picked up. Do you expect? So, yeah. I expect the Malfurion here, but could be the Alexstrasza as well.
Yeah. So they played against Reborn. Just played against Alexstrasza on Infernal Shrines. We just watched that game 2 of the semifinals.
They know the value.
Up against Freebirds. Yeah. So, man, do they have that fresh in their memory? Do they want to jump into the Alexstrasza swimming pool this early?
It's interesting. At the same time, though, they do have access to whatever their tank choice is. I would expect either Johanna or Garrosh, and then there's the possibility that one of those heroes will be banned out. And another thing to keep an eye on for Reborn, they have played a lot of Sergeant Hammer and Murda. As we have had our daily conversations, I have been a proud singer of the gospel of Sergeant Hammer over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think I actually was singing when we were talking about this earlier. And you were right on. Malfurion and Malthael is going to be their solo lane option against Sonya. Okay, I like that. That's fine.
And they'll grab the double soak there with Malthael. But I'm surprised neither team goes with a tank off the board here. Perhaps there's something a little hidden. Perhaps they're trying to hide something on the back end there. So we do have our 2 top tier supports off the board. Genji and Malthael picked up as well. So for Reborn, they're going to need a fair amount of setup damage to hopefully get a little bit more out of Malthael and provide the opportunity for the resets on the Genji as well as the stacking on last rights. And there's the hammer ban.
Okay, I like the hammer ban.
Yeah.
But man, I think this has to be a Jaina ban. If you leave Jaina open with Deckard lockdown and a tank yet to be picked, 100% in my opinion, this is a Jaina ban for me. Icebox so good up against last rights.
And it also smells like the possibility of trying to get to Jaina because of the hammer ban. Jaina being a hero that between Frostbolt and Blizzard and Cone of Cold does not have the extreme range to get the hammer. And she would play much more effectively with Bama the Hammer removed. The Medivh ban, though.
Yeah, Hammer gone, Medivh gone in the second ban phase. Tassadar selection, which is lending itself to a hyper carry. We have a double support, a double warrior. Who, Bobo, is that hyper carry going to be?
Okay, so given that there is a Malthael with the last rights and the Genji looking to provide resets, even though it's double support, I expect to see a hero with some sort of escape or, some sort of iframe in there, something to stop the potential start of the reset chain. We do see Johanna. I'm curious now. If we do see a Garrosh, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the War Chief is going to be able to grab whichever target Reborn would like.
Yeah, really good point.
So with Hammer gone again, we're looking at Jaina. We're also looking at the possibility of seeing Phoenix or Hanzo. Those are really the 3 range DPS heroes that seem to be the primary sort of water carriers, if you will, for teams in this cup. Again, Jaina, Phoenix, and Hanzo. I expect at the very least one of them to be picked up here in the latter parts of this draft, if not 2. And we'll see where Reborn goes with the end of their draft.
Yeah, I think the Garrosh makes sense, but okay, it's going to be Murda and Tychus.
They've been loving this Tychus.
Yeah, Winterheart just played it up against Freebirds in a losing effort on Infernal Shrines. They didn't quite get their own Punisher, so it was used very defensively with the Odin.
But I do think they've been proud proponents of Tychus here in this meta. And Tychus is just a very good counter to Sonya. It's just easy, reliable damage as well, especially when she goes to invade the backline. Ooh.
I think that's what I was expecting.
That's a spicy little pepper right there.
It is a spicy little pepper. Man, is she going to have trouble getting in? Is the question. I'm
not 100% sure that she really has to. Listen, it's all about Winter. If Winterheart is playing that Genji, he has played the Tychus as well. So we'll see if Reborn winds up making flip of the picks there. But
Hmm.
listen, every time there's a hyper carry Vala, it's all about whether or not that target can stay alive. There's a lot of really good CC and a lot of good zone control. I'm not sure if we're going to see Force Wall, but again, you have Deckard Cain with Scroll of Sealing, and then you'll have Johanna with her bevy of CC abilities to try to prevent anyone from getting on top of that Vala.
I think it has to be Archon. You're going up against a Genji, a Muradin. Both can jump over those walls.
You do need to reset on Dimensional Shift. We haven't seen Force Wall in quite a while. But here we go. Reborn going up against the Necrodancers. We are here. HeroesHype. This is the Open Div Cup number 2. This is the 3-4 matchup. We want to thank you guys for joining us and for cheering your favorite teams on. Let's see where this one goes. That's a lot of pressure on the Tas Valas. It'll be Domovarian on the Tassadar. Physicals will be playing the Vala, and that combo is going to be where Necrodancers are going to look to take this game.
Yeah. So loading in, obviously this is Infernal Shrines. Takes a little extra time because these Punishers are warming up their abilities. Here we go. We're in. We are in. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3rd place match of Open Cup number 3. Here we are on the left-hand side. We have Reborn. It's going to be unaverted on Tychus. Winterheart going to be playing the Genji. D-Rek on the Vandar. Muradin. Valimar playing Malfurion, and up in the top lane is Showtime on Malthael.
And on the flip side here, 4 Necrodancers, and we talked about that combo. Domovarian is going to be on the Tassadar. He's going to be paired up with Physicals on that Vala. Quantum is going to be playing the Deckard Cain. Huff Money will be on the Johanna, and last but not least for sure, Azariel will be playing the Sonya. I'm looking to spin to win.
All right, teams hanging out of mid, pretty standard. I don't see anything weird in these builds that sticking out. Everything what you'd expect. We have of course, the Scion Fusion from Tastar, which I think they need because they're lacking so much wave clear with going into this sort of double support. I think it's really going to depend on what we can do here if you're Tassadar, setting up lanes to make sure they're not pushed up against their walls, because if they have a lack of vision, then Muradin's going to have a field day ripping through some heroes from a flank.
Absolutely. And the one build to keep an eye on is Physicals with the Vala. We know that listen, there's always what everybody sort of considers to be standard with her, but at the same time there can be adaptations. That looked like it might have been a misstep there by Domovarian. He's going to get rooted, and there is the first kill. Murda, that looked like a bit of a misstep.
Yeah, he got rooted and kabooted there, Bobo. The full RK combo. Yeah, so first blood, no big deal. It's just Tassadar early game. He's already back up. At least they're not losing heroes right before a shrine is spawning. Although it is giving room on the map for a camp to be taken here by Reborn. Muradin's already on the bottom, making sure they get started there as his team is rotating to join. And with only Vala here right now, there's really not much they're going to be able to do in defense. So this is going to be a double. Yeah, I mean, he's just holding this push. He knows that. Get this camp. Shut down Johanna walking in. Ooh, this is actually going to be contested.
Unavert is going to sit here and deal with the damage through the Scroll of Sealing. Physicals on the backside. He actually winds up getting zoned out by the root, and Winterheart shows up to get the first reset. That is the second kill for Reborn. Unaverted skates out. Huff Money still hanging out there, 200 HP, and now gone. That's the 3rd kill picked up for Reborn. They're looking for the 4th. Quantum trying to get out of there. D-Rek with a body block, and a fantastic play there by Reborn. 4 kills to start off. I think they've shaken the cobwebs off from their previous set.
Man, getting Winterheart moving from the Tychus this time playing Genji. Is that the difference maker? I mean, Genji showing up so far. He's already got, well, actually, Tychus has 3 kills. Genji with the 1, but they're making the damage happen. And a lot of it was that reset you saw there by Winterheart. Was able to get the Vala taken out so early, and that's really the bulk of their whole comp. So if that is a continuing trend, then you can look for Reborn to take this one easily.
And level 4 picked up by both teams as they actually move towards the level 6 now. We actually have In the Rhythm picked up for Tychus, so we'll keep an eye on the stacks there for Unaverted. On the flip side, this is a Vala that has moved into Hot Pursuit at level 1 and then Punishment at level 4, adding on to the multi-shot build. And so right now it looks like Necrodancers are going to be content to give up this early Punisher. They're going to wind up stacking 2 members in mid. Vala now shifting bottom, and Physicals will start to wail away at this bottom wall. Direct now covering. It's just Malthael and Sonya in the top lane. Huff Money should be fine. Definitely has Iron Skin there. Meanwhile, Deckard Cain actually wound up getting charged in, unaverted, using the grenade, and another kill. Boy, Necrodancers did not go with, the 4-1 rotation. Throughout the early part of the game, and Domaveri now in trouble. They've been trying to soak multiple lanes at the same time, and Reborn has just been finding them. There's another root and another kill.
Valimar perfectly played the second time that he's found Tassadar on a fort wall with a root.
And they're building confidence. Again, as you start to pick up kills specifically underneath your enemy's gates, you're going to start to feel good. You're going to feel like, hey, you can go a little bit deeper each time. Reborn now is up 6 kills to 0. Necrodancers have done a good job trying to keep the XP sort of even. It's barely a quarter of a level lead here despite the kills, but we'll have to see what Reborn can pick up with this first Punisher, and this is an icy Punisher. Cena coming in with the cold.
Wall already down. Huff Money under pressure.
Trouble.
Already uses Iron Skin. Has to back up. Deckard's got a couple potions here sitting for him. Uses a blind to push back the members of Reborn. But this is likely going to be a fort. That Punisher is still sitting at 40% health. Leaps back onto Deckard and gets rooted. Here comes Winterheart with the Swift Strike. Deckard falling low. The stun from Murda gonna lock it home. Stormbolt for the win, baby.
Direct threading the needle, finds himself a Deckard Cain. 7 kills to 0. Top fort is gone. Unaverted, stick around. Try to see if he can go ahead and pick up this well, but Reborn are well on their way to level 10, and they may have just found the physicals.
What is Vala out here for? Storm bolted, rooted, and done. 8 now. 8 kills for Reborn, leading the way, and another half level. They're level 10, Boba.
So just to try to provide a little bit of contrast between what we saw from Reborn earlier, they were having trouble for getting onto the back line, and they could not get through the Johanna. But early on, they are finding picks and rotations here. They're building the lead, and Direct has just picked up a ton of momentum. And this is where you want to be with a Murden. All of a sudden, the map is starting to open up. You've got a lot of different angles for you to go ahead and use your Dwarf Toss Stormbolt combo. And listen, Direct just looks like he's in a good rhythm right now. He picked up the kill on the Cain, threading the needle through minions, and then was there to pick up yet another kill on Physicals. Level 10's here. Let's see what Reborn goes ahead and picks up and how they want to use their heroic advantage.
Yeah, well, they're using this advantage right away, getting onto the enemy Khazra camp, and you see Tychus back here on the other side grabbing their own camp. Malthael now making his way to the bottom, going to pick up the trifecta of Khazra camps here in the bottom portion of the map. And this is exactly what you want to do with your level 10 advantage. Take full advantage of it. Even Genji working down a well from inside that camp area. I mean, they don't necessarily have to look for a fight, but what they're doing right now is setting up these lanes for when the Punishers are spawning. We see the next one will be at mid, and Bobo, it looks like it's going to be a Mortar Punisher.
And I do like what Reborn did here. They're setting themselves up to try to open up multiple win conditions later in this match. Mid-wall is gone. Yet to use their heroics. X-Strike on Genji, Tranquility from Malfurion, Avatar, Last Rites, and the Odin. Zariel has been sitting in that bush. Boy, he's just begging for level 10 here. I expect as soon as he gets level 10 that he's going to look for a spear combo.
Is it Leap? No, it's Wrath. Okay. Oh, Domaverian. Is he going to get rooted again by Mouth? Is there the... Oh, he had the double reset like he mentioned. Grab the Archon.
So they'll trade Avatar for Archon. Winterheart should be okay. They'll have the E reset in a little bit. Quantum coming in. There's the spear on the back line as Azariel is putting pressure on the Valimar. At the same time, Physical's trying to put a little bit of pressure. The first Rain of Vengeance misses. Huff Money has a big opportunity here, but the Condemn is just not there.
Yeah, so we saw 3 heroics used by Necrodancers. Only Avatar used there by Reborn. So this is going to be a big advantage going to the Shrine, spawning in 10 seconds. And I think Reborn is fully aware they have a heroic advantage right now. I expect them to look for a fight here, Boba.
But they cannot waste their time because this is the first opportunity that Necrodancers are going to have to fight on what they will certainly feel like is an even footing. Level 13 far away as Reborn just dings 12. Keep an eye on Physicals on the backside here. Knows that Vala has been the target. And there's the Odin. It's an early Odin with only 9 skeletal defenders.
They're putting pressure onto Johanna. She's gonna have to take all the potions, which means that they're gonna get some free skeletal defenders here for Reborn. But yeah, you gotta find a way. Look at Vala. She's playing so far back right now, and here she's finally moving forward, looking to see if she can get any damage out. But it's almost like Physicals is playing a bit scared because he knows that he's been under pressure, like you said, and he doesn't want to be picked off in these fights. But if Necrodancers wants to win these fights, they have to find Vala in onto the enemy.
Last rights look like it's being procced there, and it's trying to find the kill on Johanna. Huffmoney goes down. Winterheart on the backside is actually going to... Okay, uses a Swift Strike to get back. The deflect converts the kill on Sonya. But it is a 2-for-1. So Reborn does wind up winning this Mortar Punisher, but they do suffer their first death. Man, that was a hectic fight. I got to give a lot of credit to Azariel there on that Sonya. Put a lot of pressure on the backline. And that actually came after Domavarian had to use Dimensional Shift without Archon.
Yeah, so one thing to mention though, Johanna and Sonya both falling means they absolutely have a 0% chance of defending this fort. They just give it up. They move back behind Keep Wall. They're going to put up a defense, but they're down a talent here. It's 11-13. Here's the Mortar Punisher jumping over the wall. You have a root coming out from Deckard, but it's not connecting on anything. All right, so what it ends up being is a more XP lead for Reborn. And how do you get back in the game now if you're Necrodancers? You have to find a way to get some free fort damage. And if you saw what happened in the semifinals, when Reborn was trying to do this up against
Freebirds, yes.
They played Freebird, right? So they tried getting the XP in the top lane, and then they just marched across, the Freebirds marched across and took Keep Walls and all these sorts of things. So they have to make smart decisions on where they're going to find their XP, but they have to figure out where they're going to get it from quick.
It's interesting right now because Necrodancers, despite being down on the talent tier advantage, they are grouped up as 5. There really isn't a lot of opportunity for them to find Split Soak. D-Rec, though, does wind up finding the Johanna there with the Storm Bolt, followed by Winterheart, but not too much going on there. There is the Lornado to zone, and Necrodancers will retreat out. 13 was picked up during that last objective phase by Reborn, so we do see Shingen picked up for the Genji. Pretty standard here. Malfurion with the Ice Block, healing static, completing that W synergy for Murda Inevitable End. Picked up as well on the Malthael and Spray and Pray. And that's just, by the way, keeping track, 44 stacks of In the Rhythm there for Unaverted as he has gone with the Quest on the minigun at level 4. And soon looks like Necrodancers will pick up 13, and they should have an opportunity to defend this fort. Huffmoney goes in. There's the Condemn there. And Unaverted poking on the backside here. Necrodancers, I don't really think they want much out of this fight here. They just want to be able to set themselves up for the next objective phase, which they will have. I thought they were going to have an even talent here, but Reborn's done just a good job of picking up enough XP where they're a half level away from having the 16 advantage.
Yeah, and you saw Ezreal popped Wrath, was looking to take the fight, but his team just wasn't there. They couldn't find it, but they find some damage here on the Murden.
Uses Avatar.
Gets stunned and will fall. Even after Avatar, plenty of damage from the Vala. Of course, the Rain of Vengeance holding him in, and it interrupted the Dwarf Toss there, which was really the important part.
Yes, and a good Blessed Shield there. Follow-up was had by Physicals, and the second kill for Necrodancers. So they just keep chipping away here. They do have the opportunity to pick up Genji in the top lane here. Winterheart trying to get out. I don't know if he has his Swift Strike right now. There's the deflect. There's the Swift Strike. Okay.
Yeah, if Sonya could hit that spear, maybe they find him. But yeah, I mean, Swift Strike just too OP. Yes.
And in the meantime, 16 picked up here by Reborn. Final cut for Genji. Nature's Balance on the Malfurion. D-Rec yet to pick up a talent. Soul Collector for the Malthael. And Armor-Piercing Rounds. This is an interesting build for the Tychus. A lot of Q talents. In fact, 2 Q talents in 13-16. And I can't help but think that, you know, those talents at 13 and 16, which are oftentimes going to be defensive talents, it might be something like Neosteel Coating, for example, on Tychus, have to come from Unaverted just feeling safe in these team fights, and Reborn has been the aggressor throughout this game.
Bobo, this is the same play I was alluding to earlier, that Reborn made the mistake of trying to make this trade. So now you see this wall. It's getting opened up here by Reborn. They're making them, they're reversing the mistake they made in the semifinal, and so they're gonna have this Punisher pushing on to a keep that has no wall. They're even, it looks like they're just gonna race it. This is keep for keep. Actually, it looks like Necrodancers is going to get the better trade in terms of
Oh,
who's
they
going to
have
finish the heat
tremendous-
first.
Are they just going to keep going? There's the
Oh,
backs.
wow. The backs are coming out.
No way.
16's online, too. They're going to try
Gus-
to take this all in.
This is a gutsy call here. Doma Various popped Archon. Necrodancers has every intention of staying there. Valimar comes in with the Tranquility. Oh, Last Rites has been procced, and Johanna goes down. There's the first kill. Deckard Cain goes down, as well as Winterheart on that Genji. Finds another kill. D-Rick is on the back line. He's got Skullcracker. He's going to look to try to stop Ezreal and find another kill. 2 for Reborn. All the meanwhile, there's our friend. The Punisher is pushing core. I don't know if he can do this solo, but Reborn is just going to go ahead and try to push their way through bottom lane.
It's the big bad Arcane Punisher, too, Bobo. Like,
Shields are going down.
14 seconds till Johanna's back. Here comes Reborn.
Sonya got
Look
back,
at
though.
Yeah, but how are you going to stop it? You really can't. Even with Malfield being such a weak sieger here, there's nothing. Like, the lasers are too strong.
40. Yeah, they can't get through it. Look at physicals right now. Every laser hit is a huge chunk of damage. And Winterheart will cross back over on the other side. Final cut winds up finishing off the core. Game number 1 goes to Reborn. Boy, Necrodancers made a really, really gutsy call there. And you know what? I like it.
Yeah, it was, you know.
I mean, what is their avenue back into the game there? They have a tremendous amount of siege. They have both TAS and Vala. They popped Archon earlier. They were looking to try to zone out with the Lornado on the Kayn and maybe just start to put a little bit of pressure on the core, maybe find themselves a kill. Listen, in the end, it was too much, but when you're facing that much pressure and when Reborn is on such a roll as they were on, you got to make risky decisions there. Maybe Necrodancers can come back and solidify their early game and battle back here in this 3-4 set.
Man, maybe take that keep there. They picked up 16 right as it was captured. Maybe you just hearth back and make the defense as 5 and fight for a better day. Because at least you keep for keep.
It's true, but if you do that, you're going to find yourself staring at the 20 talent tier in the opposite direction. All right, Reborn's going to have 20. You may not actually be able to pick up 20 before the next Punisher. Listen, sometimes you just got to go for it. Like I said, I like that they committed to it. There wasn't any waffling there. It shows that they still have good, strong comms and enough conviction to at least go for the backdoor play there. And again, it didn't play out. Wasn't the right call, but I don't know. It could have worked. Could have.
Yeah. No, it's a gutsy play. You love to see gutsy plays, and you saw it there out of Necrodancers. They do fall. Reborn leading 1-0 here in the third place match of Open Cup number 2.